Grand Rising, loves. This is the altar spread for the collective consciousness today. So the sacred geometry that showed up today is the Himalayan passage. And so what this is that you see is the triangular shape, but it also represents 4 mountains. The 4 mountains are the 4 aspects of self: our intellect, our emotion, our spirit, and our physical. And so everything is in service of the spirit. Our authentic self is spirit. Everything else is just meant to be used as a tool in the human experience. And so the intellect was always meant to just be a filter, so that everything that you say sounds like you. But it was never meant to be used to store information and be a database, which is actually what it has become for 99% or better of people walking the earth plane. It's a very small percentage of people who don't have dialogue happening in their intellect. And the reason why is that's the amnesia of the raising process. So it's very rare, but it's becoming more common. And those moments of quiet intellect are becoming greater for the collective, which is beautiful. But the Himalayan passage showed up in the reverse. In the reverse, it's telling you to listen to your emotions. And when I teach, I always teach that the emotions are that last doorway into the authentic self. Because the intellect, being just a tool, really needs to be silent for you to access your authentic self. The physical body is literally like putting on a spacesuit to walk the moon. And it helps with the sensual experience of being human, which is why we come back again and again for that sublime bliss of the highest highs of being human. But even in our deepest sorrow, we still get to feel, and that's why we choose it, because we elevate ourselves through the process of learning about those things. So the emotions are the last doorway into the authentic self. The emotions are that current that reveal who we are, because that's that, like that layer of oil floating on the water, and you're the water. And so when you get to feel through that, when you allow yourself to feel, you heal. You have to feel to heal. There's no avoiding the feels. And so if you're bumbling through life avoiding the feels, you're not ever really going to know you, because you're not excavating the authentic you. And so Himalayan passage showing up in the reverse is saying, you got to get back to the feels. You have to commune with yourself. And it has the symbol for Om. And Om has really been bastardized, and it's in a lot of teachings as just OM. And it's not. And I've talked about this on other videos. It's actually a 4-syllable word. Om. It's A-U-M. And it was the name given to Source, the infinite creator that we were all made from. And when it is said properly, it actually is all purifying. It's the most powerful vibration that the body can say. And so it's Aum. And you can just feel how that resonates, starting in the throat, in the high heart, and then pulls all the way down to the pelvic floor and then out the crown. It's a vibration that basically threads the physical body. And the softer the physical body is, and the more open we are as a physical vessel, the more fully it can hold the spirit. So feel all the feels. And stand still also showed up in reverse. This is talking about be the observer. The observer is who you are in your truest form. The spirit is the ever infinite, never changing observer. You've already planned all this shit. It's fucking effortless if you just allow yourself to follow the flow of synchronicities through your life. Then nothing is difficult. So stand still showing up in the reverse is saying you are caught in some kind of turmoil that's affecting you connecting with you. And so you need to clear it. You need to clear it to actually progress. It's saying before you really thwart your evolution, fix it. And so this is also here, the disconnect, showing up in reverse, disconnect. Like you are allowing yourself to make an agreement to be in a situation that you don't belong in. Correct it. So observe where you're at, feel all the feels and be honest about the feels, and then right that wrong. And then Tiger's Eye showed up for balance. And I love this. This is such a cohesive spread. And I love when that happens, where it's like so uber obvious what the common pulse is, right? So balance is all about not living in the duality mind of thought. It's not dark or light. It's not male or female. It's not good or bad. It's not right or wrong. Fuck all that. It's all the same thing. It's just all a different interpretation of the same frequency, because it's all unity consciousness. And duality was taught to actually keep you controllable. And we have to heal that old paradigm. We have to fix that. We have to right the wrongs. And Tiger's Eye is a beautiful stone. These are Tiger's Eye palm stones that I use in my healing sessions. Beautiful. But you can see that the dark stone, but then the depth of the gold lining through the stone. And this is why it's called Tiger's Eye. See that? How beautiful. And so Tiger's Eye is a very grounding firestone, which is also more rare. Hematite is a very grounding stone with an undercurrent of fire, whereas Tiger's Eye is fire, but it has this undercurrent of grounding. So they work in a very different way. It's different personality. But Tiger's Eye, and I always also teach that working from the ground up is most important. You have to have a really healthy root if you ever plan on reaching those elevated heights. Just like building a skyscraper, you have to have that ironclad foundation if you want to build the higher skyscraper. It's the same idea energetically, spiritually. You have to have that strong foundation in order to reach those elevated heights, and that's just the truth of it. And so Tiger's Eye is so powerful. Tiger's Eye is actually the stone of choice of the Dalai Lama in his mala. So it's a beautiful stone to work with, and it doesn't get a whole lot of attention. And it can be so easily found. And when you feel the power of the stone, you'll say, wow, yeah. Like I literally found some beads in a local craft store, and I made a Tiger's Eye mala for a friend of mine for her birthday. Beautiful stone. And now the Kuntur Yakchak. This has shown up just recently, like 2 other times. So the blessing of the son of Hanapacha. This is about the condor being the messenger of spirit for the shaman. And the message that it brings is you are in transition. And I always try to talk about different aspects of the card when they show up multiple times. So if this resonates with you, really try to access those other videos. There's always a picture. See if you can go into those other spreads to get the message of this, because it's a very deep message of condor. They have been so close to extinction multiple times and have come back from it. And so this card, they bring the medicine of, even if you feel like you're in imminent danger of complete destruction, don't worry, because you won't be. You are divinely protected and guided through this process. And it's a rebirthing. It's a transformation. No transformation is going to be easy. Sometimes change comes gently, right? It's like that, how the Grand Canyon was carved by water. It was over millennia, and it just happens slowly and just this constant carving. But most transition that happens in the human experience is a lot like turmoil, and it feels like destruction sometimes. But if we are honest about our feels, if we're connected to our feels and honest about our feels, and we get out of the thought that something is good or bad, we can heal that shit and then see like, okay, this is all for my betterment and for my evolution and for my highest good. So that's the common pulse of this spread. Like, feel your feels and know that they're guiding you. They're guiding you to your inner self. And they are guiding you in the human experience. It doesn't have to be so hard. You make it hard. So let's take a collective deep breath together. Release with an audible sigh. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. And I will forever end these spreads with that Ho'oponopono practice to honor us, bringing us back to zero. Thank you.